Hello. So I figured the best thing to do rather than type this all up is just to, thank goodness for video, um, walk through it here with you. So on the change privacy modal, I guess say it modal or modal or anyway. Um, so this is what it looks like. You have of course the check boxes up and down, sideways. They have this is the main body right here, and these are all select alls. Okay. We also have reset form down here and the submit. So basically, what we wanted to do is I wanted to be able to say, okay, if they check this box here and all of these are full, okay, um, then that is their option. They can't go over here and check one of these other boxes, okay? Because then the post value is going to have these boxes plus that box, or it's going to choose one or the other. I don't know how it does that, but anyway, it's not going to have the right values is the bottom line. And again, we're dealing with privacy, so it has to be right. So anyway, and I also have in the PHP that if something does go wrong and there's no values, it automatically defaults to private. So that protects me a little bit. But anyway, so then if they go here and they check this box here, which fills all this up, okay, and they check a box down here to fill all that up, that's all they can do, okay. They can't go check a third one down here and fill all that up. That was a problem before. They could go through and check every single one of these and fill them all up. So we're not going to do that. And then there was a problem if you checked one of these here, you could go next door and check the other one. Go next door and check the other one. You could check them all across here. Okay. So basically, it's the way that I wanted it to work is I wanted one option this way and one option that way. Okay. So that's the way it should be, I think. So here is how I did it. I'll show you a little bit of HTML here. So basically, this is when you see this is the body. Okay. So I did it. I gave the ID, or I gave the body a name or whatever, and then the T body, and then so you have one for each. And then also each row has the same name, okay? You'll see the same class name. So that way I can isolate the rows from the select all buttons because they have a different name. So let's see here. So first of all, you'll see that the T body, okay, is the activity checkboxes, okay? So that's the top portion up here. This is the activity, and this is the individual, or I say the feature boxes. Okay. All right, so we have the ID of activity boxes, which is the top part, and then each one of the TRs has its own class. So, and they're all called tracking. So that way, in the JS, I can say, okay, does it come from tracking, which is one of these, okay, or does it come from the select all, which is these buttons? Okay, I have to figure out the source so that I can know what to do, because sometimes they don't communicate with each other. So anyway, so that was a challenge. So anyway, so I've got the tracking there, and then you'll see that there is no checked equals whatever. That's all dynamically created. And then on the bottom of each section, I have the select all. Okay, and that does not have a name. So basically, all of the tracking skips that. So that's a good thing because that way I can separate the normal checkboxes from the select all. And that does the same thing with the bottom section. They're all called tracking, all the TRs except for the bottom one. Okay, so now. Okay, so I'll go ahead and show you. It's a little bit complex to do this. And the thing is that I don't like using jQuery, but you know what? When I spend an hour trying to resource how to do it with JS, and all of a sudden I run across a jQuery that says, oh, boom, 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 just do this. Okay, And it does exactly what I want it to do. Guess what? I'm going to plug in the jQuery. I don't want to, and I'd like to learn how to do it with regular JS. But you know what? If it works, I'm going to use it for now to get it working, and then I can fix it later. Okay, um, so here's how it works. I'll give you a quick demo here. So they click this box here. All right. Now let's say that they want to change their mind. Let's say they want to go over here and let's say, you know what, I'm going to go over here and I'm going to do this one right here. It won't let them. Okay. It says you must uncheck the current row item first. Okay. So that tells them that they have to uncheck that first. Then if they want to go over and check this box, look what happens. So now the rest of them disappear. That's how I handled the fact that I didn't want them to check multiple boxes on the same line, okay? Because they get one option here and one option vertical and horizontal, okay? So then if you uncheck this, they all come back, okay? And then if you want to check this again, okay, then those go away, all right? Now if you uncheck this, okay, that was a problem I was having, is that it wouldn't, and I'm still having it. I thought I fixed it, but is that it didn't bring these back. It needs to bring these back. Now it will bring them back if you check this and uncheck it again. But the problem I was having is that after after I unchecked this, okay, and I said, okay, you know, I'm going to go ahead and check this box here, and then we take it here, okay, we take the rest of them off. It well, actually, that's the way it should work, huh? Yeah, that's the way it should work. And then, yeah, because there's one checked, and then, okay, so I guess I did fix it. Okay, all right, good. So, and then let's say that they want to choose one here, okay, and then they want to go down and choose another one here, okay. Let's say they want to choose a third one. Let's say up here, okay. It won't let them. Sorry, but select all is limited to 2 choices, one top and one bottom. Okay, so they can't go and choose 2 here. Okay, because your other choice has to be on the bottom, and you notice that it doesn't even let them click. So in other words, before it ever puts the checkbox there, it removes it. Okay, it removes the attribute, so it won't even let them check it and then uncheck it. It just, before it ever records it, just rips it out of there. So, so that's how I did that. And then let's say the other thing, and it does the same thing down here, by the way. Okay, you have to have one on the top and one on the bottom. Now let's say they want to go through here and say, hey, I'm going to check all these boxes, all of them up there. Well, there's 35 total here and 45? Yeah, 45 total here, okay? So they only get, I believe it's 7. They get 7 on the top and 9 on the bottom total. So let's just go through and, so we got this one and 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 that one, okay? Oops. And that one, okay? Okay, so it tells them that you must uncheck the current item, but it also, I thought I could get that to trigger. Let's see, because it should trigger that that you've checked too many items, that you need to well, let's see here. Let me try it down here. So we should have 9. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, I see what happens. Okay. All right. 6, 7. That's what happened. Okay. So I added that logic. That's what happened. I added the logic. See, it took care of itself. The problem took care of itself because I added the logic that I could only choose 7 up here and 9 down here. But when I added the logic to remove these siblings, okay, that took care of that problem. So I actually don't need that part of the code anymore. That's what happened. So that's good. I mean, that's a positive thing. I have a little backup there. So if for some reason this part fails, which going on and off, I'll still have that other section of code as a default to say, no, you only have 7 up here and 9 down there. So that's good. That's a good thing. So anyway, it appears that it all works. And so I wanted you to know kind of what I was looking for and what and why I was having to do that that the way I did. So as far as the JS goes and the working part of this, I'll show you that real quick here. Um, so So we set all our variables here. This top part right here, and just so you don't understand what's going on here, this is the limit class. Now the limit class is only the select buttons. Okay, all the select buttons have the same limit class. So that isolates them. So this is listening for the click of one of those boxes. Okay, and then I check to see because each one of those boxes has a value, and it's easier to use a number than it is the word. Okay, when you're storing it and when you're passing it around, stuff like that. So I'd rather use the numeric value to store it in the database or whatever. And then if I need the text value, I can just convert it like this. So in this case, I need the text value to be able to look at the name, because if you notice the names on here, they're members value. Okay, so this starts with value, and this starts with members value. Okay, and if you go up here to the top box, okay, these all have member act. They all have the word act in there. So that's how I know which one section for the other section, because of the name act. So if we go back to the JS here, so I get the values. Again, this is when they click on the select all. So we're clicking on the select all, and here again, if it's not any of those values, it's private. Okay, and then here we basically get how many boxes of those gold boxes are checked. And then here we're going to say if it's greater than 1, if they try to check 2 selects, okay, in the same section, this is what covers that. And you see it removes it and it sends them a message, okay. And then of course what we want to do is we want to say, you know what, if any of those blocks were hidden, let's say that let's say we went here and we checked this or whatever, and then we took this and put it over there, and then we unchecked it, or let's say we put it here and then we wanted to recheck this. Okay, before what would happen is that if you turned this off, actually if you did this, oops, hold on, uncheck this. Let me start over here. if you did this and then you did this, okay. You can uncheck that and go here. Now, if you notice that it destroys that box, well, if I wanted to click on this box, since they really don't communicate all that well, if I wanted to click this box and take that off, okay, then if this is not checked, so let's uncheck this one. If you notice, it comes back on, okay. If I uncheck this one, okay, then internally, I want this box right here to be sitting as if it was done by this box. Because otherwise, if I bring it back, it's just going to be null still. There's not going to be anything in there. So I wanted this box to be readily available if I uncheck this one. So, and you see it is. Otherwise, what would happen is if I unchecked that, this one would still be blank. Okay, it wouldn't have a white box in there. So that's the part of the code that does that. And so then we do the second thing, or we do notice this is ends up, or the last name of this is feet for feature. That's the bottom box. It does the same thing for the bottom box. Okay, and then down here, what it does is it says, okay, if it's checked, then okay, we're okay to add the attribute. So, because remember, all of those are dynamically created. Okay, there's no checked equals in the HTML. So this is where it dynamically creates them. It creates the attribute checked and it gives it a value of checked. Okay, so now we're going to this section of code right here. We're going to decide which section it came from. Are we going? Is this from the select all buttons on the top portion? Okay, which is here, or does it come from the bottom portion? Okay, that's how I can tell them, hey, you've got one or the other. Okay, you've got more in one than the other. So what we're going to do here is, if you look at the HTML, you'll notice that the select all here, it starts with SA all, okay, for the top portion. And if you go down to the bottom portion here, it's SA value. Okay, so that's how I know. So I have to look for that value in the name, and that's what I'm doing here. So once I find the value, then I can either send them to the select all privacy, okay, or I can send them to the select act all privacy. So, and then privacy is this word up here, okay, because that word is also if you notice, it's also in this here. Okay, you have online, you have friends, you have profile, you have video. Okay, and that's so that way I can know which item it is. So or which section it came from. So now we're going to send one of these words. Okay, whether it be female, male, whatever. We're going to send it with it, and then it's going to come down to one of these functions. So the first function, I'm going to skip this part because that's the tracking for the other boxes. And so here is the okay. Here's the select all for the top portion. Okay, so we're basically going to get all the checked values, or we're going to check. I'm sorry, we're going to check the checked values, and we're going to say that there's actually some checked values in there. Okay, so if you notice right here that again, this value is either online or it's everyone or whatever the privacy value is. It's going to put it right here. So the name of the ID is select all, and then whatever that text name is. We're going to see if there's any checked. If there's not, there's no business in doing. We have no business here, so we'll just get out of it. Or we won't do anything. If there are, then what we do is we get all of those items, okay, and we set the style to inline block. That corrects the problem with the hidden one after we uncheck it with a single box, okay. In other words, if you check the select all and then you go over and check the single box, that fixes that issue with it being invisible still, okay, or we do it the other way around. Because remember, when we check or check a single box, it hides with display none. It hides that item, so we need to make sure the item is alive and well. And then we set it to true. Okay, so now it's ready to go. So we do the same thing with the bottom box, and that's the one for the bottom box. Okay, so because remember, anytime you see act, that's the top box. Okay, so then and we do the unselect and we do the unselect for both of those the same way. Okay. Then while we're down here, I'll go ahead and cover this, and I'll cover the other one. Is the privacy reset. I had to do my own custom button because the normal button just wouldn't clear the dynamic values. If I just used the normal HTML reset input, it wouldn't clear the dynamic values. So I had to basically, give them a confirmation, and then it's going to clear it. So this is the code that I did to do that. Because basically what would happen is is that it wouldn't clear the basic HTML input button would not clear the dynamic values. So I had to write my own. Now it includes the basic one, but it also does some other things. So anyway, this is the reset. And so basically, when they push reset, the first thing it's going to do is it's going to go into tracking, into the tracking uh, um, 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 class. Sorry, the sorry, my brain's getting overloaded here. The tracking class, and which is basically all of these. Okay, all right, and then it's going to make them all inline blocks. So if any of them are subdued or turned off, it's going to turn them back on. Okay, and then we're going to if they are checked, we're going to zero that just as a fail-safe, just in case, and then we're going to remove the attributes. So that'll clear all those. And then we do the same thing with the limit, which is for the select all buttons. Okay, do the same process. Now, for the single boxes, I had to add another listener. And this is the other listener. Okay, and it pretty much kind of does the same thing as the original, but not entirely, because it's on a single level. So again, we initialize our bars here, and we get the target, and then we check to see if it's true or false. Okay, if it's true, in other words, if it's checked, okay, then we need to look and see, okay, it's checked, but where did it come from? Okay, so I'm going to do my search again, and if it finds it's from the top section, then it's going to add 7 to the count because there's 7 that they can check, okay, up and down vertically. And then if it not, and it comes from the bottom section, we're going to add 9. Okay, so again, there's 7 here and 9 here. Okay, all right, and then if it's not a select all, okay, so that's the select all part. If it's not a select all, if those don't fly or don't trap it, then it'll fall into this. And I separated it. Yes, I closed out this true and restarted it, but I wanted to get a separation of the code. That's the only reason I did that, because I wanted to be able to, if I needed to put something in here or just for my understanding of it, because it's kind of complex, I wanted to separate the two portions. So anyway, that's why I did that. So now we got individual boxes. Okay, so now we have to remember this is a listener. So we're listening to see if somebody clicked on a single box. Okay, on these blue boxes up here. All right. So if they did, then we're going to say, okay, well, let's go see how many there are. Okay, and the how many equals the how many. How many total equals how many, which is so it adds the individual or the select all boxes totals 7 or 9 and adds it to the single one, which means that if you click here and then you click one of these other ones, you've out extended the max. Okay, you've gone past the max. So and then we check for 16 because 16 is total, and then if you add them both together, so then if that's the truth, then what we do is we say, you have exceeded the max selection, and we do the same thing we did before. We don't even let them actually check it. We just remove the attribute immediately. So now, if they have not exceeded that amount, okay, then we need to look at the rest of the row. Okay, we need to look at basically the siblings. To see, okay, are they checked? If they're checked, we need to uncheck them. Or if they're checked, we need to basically uncheck them first and then basically do a display none. Okay, so that's how they go off and on. And so that's what that part of it does. And then if it's checked, then we have to remove it first, and then we can set it, turn it off or whatever. And then this down here, I was having a problem You notice if it's true, if the true or false checked is true or false. If checked is true or false. So it's true, it means they checked it. But I was like, okay, well, if they uncheck it, I need to know about it. If they uncheck it, then the lights need to come back on, or the whatever needs to happen needs to happen. So that's why I did this. Okay, if it's false, then there's some things we need to do. Okay, first thing we need to go through. We need to get the the values. Okay, we need to get we need to get the element. Okay, and then we need to go through the element, and we need to check to see if it's checked or if it's false. Okay, if it's not checked. Okay, if it's not checked, then we need to basically bring it back alive, and that's what handles that part of the code. And then, of course, if how many single is greater than 0, then how many single equals how many single plus 1. So basically, this is counting the individual 9 and 7 boxes if they decide to do it individually, okay, and not use a select all. And that's it. I mean, that's the whole code, and that's so if you say you don't know what's going on, then you can. I hope I made some sense here, and at least maybe. Like I said, if I could get rid of the jQuery, I would. But you know what? Like I said, this, especially, whoops, where is it? This part right here, this jQuery right here, okay? I looked to see how to do this forever, okay? And I couldn't figure out how to do it. I mean, everything I tried, because I console log, I think, a zillion times. And, I'll do it, and I'll do it, and I'll do it, and I'll do it, and I'll change something, and I'll do it, and I'll change it, and it's like maddening. But so I was trying to figure out how to do this, and basically I ran across a site that says, "Oh, well, that's easy. Boom, one line, and it's done." Anyway, so I'll wrap this up, but that's basically why I use the jQuery. You see, there's not that many. There's probably maybe four statements of jQuery, and the rest of it's all JS. So anyway, if someone would teach me how to do it in JS, I'll do it in JS. But anyway, I'll wrap this up and see you later. And I hope this made sense. And have a good day. Okay.